Okay, so we have this table of values for f of x equals e to the x minus 2 minus 3. So we're going to use the table of values to answer the questions. Yesterday we used an equation and a graph. Now we have an equation in a table. What is the equation of the horizontal asymptote of f of x, and explain how you know?
Y equals -3.
Y equals -3. And how do you know?
Because as x approaches as x approaches -3.
Right?
Bound.
What, just because?
I said with bound.
With bound, that's right, yeah. You're right. It is with bound. Look at y'all with those math terms. I'm so proud. Oh, he's just absent. I didn't count him as. I gotta count him as. It's a graph of f of x above or below the horizontal asymptote. It's above. When the so when the inverse of the function is a graph, will the graph be to the right or to the left of the vertical asymptote? Explain your reasoning. So hang on, let me remember. This f of x is above. Alright, so it's above because all the values are greater than -3. So since it's above, what's going to happen to the inverse?
I'm going to say it's to the right, but
Yep.
I wasn't here.
You're right. I'll figure out what I want to write in just a minute. The graph of the inverse of f of x will be to the right of the vertical asymptote. What is the equation of the vertical asymptote?
X equals -3.
Right? And that's because y equals 3, or y equals -3, was the equation of the horizontal asymptote of f of x. Alright? I'm pausing so you can write. Those of you who are actually writing. You ever try to close your pen with the lid in your mouth and just write all over your face?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Hate that when that happens, especially when it's a Sharpie. It's really bad. Okay. What's the domain and range of f of x and its inverse? So let's talk about domain, range, f of x, inverse of f of x. What's the domain of f of x? Alright, so then what's the range of f of x? -3 to infinity. Alright, so now what's the domain of the inverse? And the range? -infinity, it doesn't move. It just stays floating off where we can't ever see it. Now we have to do some algebra. Find the equation of the inverse. So that's going to be x equals e to the y minus 2 minus 3, or x plus 3 equals e, oh my gosh, to the y minus 2 or the natural log of x plus 3 equals y minus 2. So the inverse of f of x equals the natural log of x plus 3 plus, I want that 2 in front actually, 2 plus natural log of x plus 3. Now sketch the graph. Where's the vertical asymptote?
Negative 30.
-3.
So do you just swap the points?
Say that again.
Do you just swap the points?
Swap the domain for the range and the range for the domain. Yeah. And then just switch the points around. So like 2, -2 would become -2, 2. And so I'd go over -2.8 and that would be on 0. I need something more over here. So like over 4.3 would be up 4. And I'm not going over 51, so it would be something like this. That's it. So easy, right? So easy a freshman could do it. Or could they?
What? I didn't even hear what you said.
Said it's so easy a freshman could do it.
You only got 3 in the graph.
What? What about the graph?
You go to 30.
Oh, I did go to 30, didn't I?
I was just gonna say you're not part of it.
Oh, I still can't hit the point. Watch this. Now I can. Hit it! Alright, what's the equation of the horizontal asymptote for this one? And tell me how you know.
Y equals 3.
Y equals 3, and how do you know?
Because as x approaches negative infinity, f of x approaches 3
That is exactly right.
with bound.
With bound. That bound being 3. This one is pretty much modeled after the same. So I'm going to let you try and do this one more by yourself, and then we'll just talk about the answers. Alright, so is the graph of f of x above or below the horizontal asymptote? Below. Why? How do you know that?
Values for under 3.
Okay, all the values of f of x are less than 3. So when the inverse of f of x is graphed, will the graph be to the right or to the left of the vertical asymptote? To the left, because f of x is below the horizontal asymptote. The inverse of f of x is going to be to the left of its vertical asymptote. For those of you who take notes, that's a lot to write, so I'll wait. If you're watching the video right now, you can just pause it, rewind it, so you can play that again, make sure you get everything written down. What's the equation of the vertical asymptote? X equals 3. How do you know that?
Because it's a horizontal asymptote.
Right. Y equals 3 was the equation of the horizontal asymptote, so x equals 3 has to be the vertical asymptote. What's the domain? And okay, you're still writing. I'm going to slow down. I'm going to try and wait a second. I'm going to walk back here and fix attendance. I did it wrong. I'm going to go do that while you're finishing writing that stuff. domain and range of f of x. Yeah, negative infinity to infinity, and the range, negative infinity to 3. So then, what do you do to get the domain and the range of the inverse? You just swap them. Okay, now, do the algebra, or this, and I will go through all these and just when you're finished. Do E. Do the algebra for that. We'll be running out now. Well, I will. Are we done with the algebra? Do we know how to do the algebra? I feel like if you know what you're doing, you should be done. All right, so remember x and y change places. So it becomes x equals negative 2, y plus 2 plus 3. So I'm going to subtract 3 first. Right? And I think I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that negative. So I'm going to have negative x plus 3 equals 2 to the y plus 2. Because the next thing I'm going to do is change this to a log base 2. So I can get rid of that 2. Move that over, so I have negative 2 plus log base 2 of negative x plus 3 equals y. So the inverse of f of x is negative 2 log base 2 of negative x plus 3.
I keep having trouble figuring out when to get to the negative. Like, I didn't do it till I didn't do it till like the third step. But doing,
Had you already taken the log when you got rid of the negative?
yeah, like, because I have negative 2 minus log base 2 x minus 3. Because I put the negative in front of the
Oh.
log.
So that's part of it, yeah. All right, so what did we say our vertical asymptote was?
3.
3. All right, so that's going to be 1, negative 1, 2.75, negative 4. All the way out here is not even up to 2, because 2 is at negative 13, so let's just go with that. That's it. Sort of. Maybe it could go up a little bit more. I don't care. There you go. Okay, if you look at your homework pages, you got some homework pages there. I don't, because mine are totally out of order. I don't know where my homework pages are. 5, 10.
11, 12, 13.
What day is it?
59.
59? Okay. Alright, well, here's what we're looking at. Day 59's homework, and then we have some free response practice and some multiple choice practice. So, and then we have a quiz. Okay. Everything has to be done by Wednesday. Everything has to be done by Wednesday. We have to have the quiz and the test by Wednesday. So, we'll go over the homework and do the multiple choice practice on Monday, and we'll get ready for the quiz and the test on Monday. You'll have a quiz Tuesday and a test Wednesday. So the 9 weeks is over Friday, but I have to go to a PD at Harrisburg Thursday and Friday. But so everything has to be done by Wednesday.
We're going Thursday, Friday.
Darn.
Yeah, I know. So for those of you listening at home, you have a quiz Tuesday and a test Wednesday. Quiz Tuesday, test Wednesday.